The church is not the cathedral. And I'm speaking here about whether you are Hindu, Christian, Muslim. I speak of the church in that wide sense. It is not the size of the cathedral. It is here. The greatest learning institutions in the world were built by people who were evangelists or societies, CMS, Protestants, Anglicans, and all of that, because what they were trying to do was to prepare a new generation through what they learned. So it was in Igbobi College, was undertaking A-levels and European history, that we were exposed to how the church itself even evolved. Let us agree one thing. God is the God of all. He is not the God of Christian or Muslim. Indeed, Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote a book, God is not a Christian. Have you read that book? Those who have read it, I'm sure you will see the reasoning and the logic. Because Christianity didn't exist in the time of Abraham. Jesus, the Christ, didn't see Christianity. It is his followers who became Christians. He died so that that church can be fulfilled. So when Peter was saying, no, I will not betray you, Lord, he said, no, Peter. This has to happen so that the prophecy will be fulfilled. If you do an audit of schools in Lagos, especially at primary and secondary school, you will find that the missionary societies, Ansarudin, Ahmadiyya, Ahmad Islam, Catholic, Anglican, own more schools than government itself owns. So I am a product of one of those, and so are many people of my generation, whether you are Muslim. But what did they teach us then? 10 commandments: fear God, love your neighbor, do not lie, do not steal. They didn't teach us miracles and prosperity. They told us that if we did not work, we will not eat. That's what they taught us. So, the message from Pastor Shoyemi about what the church is doing now, the church must now find a way to reform itself. Some people, some elders, some leaders must take control again. Who is competent to stand on a pulpit and minister to the people of God? What are the qualifications necessary to do that? Or is it just anybody? So just last week I was reading that somebody was asking people to pay 310,000 naira because he wants to take them to heaven. In the name of God. So as long as we continue to propagate miracles, we are propagating, in my view, an escape from reality. People are praying to be rich. Yes, but are you not going to work it? So it is that mindset that has pauperized our environment. A mindset of miracles. So how much hard work are we really doing? My recommendation, and permit me to make this, And if this offends you, hold the people who invited me. The church has escaped from its traditional place. Its traditional place used to be in places of worship. And in the homes, it must go back there. You see, every time you go to government offices now, in the morning is prayer, in the afternoon is prayer, in markets now. I didn't grow up to see that. But the question to ask ourselves, is it working? So maybe, and that's why I make that recommendation, maybe we should go back to what used to work and let's keep it there. Let me try and close by addressing our situation as I understand it. We have challenges and we have had challenges. But all too often, we have overcome our challenges. But we didn't overcome them simply by abdicating our responsibility and waiting for miracles. But show me one nation that has no problems, one in the world. So 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody and I said, do you know what the Marshall Plan was about? He said, no. I said, so let's Google it together. Marshall Plan. That was a plan. Marshall was the Secretary of State, I think, for the United States. It was who initiated the idea to create a fund to rebuild the whole of Europe. So those of you who visit London now, and it's a place to escape to, it was a city totally damaged by war. Totally in the Second World War. So if you go and read the Marshall Plan, they raised, I think it was either 13 or 15 billion pounds at the time, which would have been the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars today. So that beautiful city we see now was built on loan, given in the late 1940s, around 1948. You know when they finished repaying the last tranche? 2006, yesterday. Yes, don't believe me, just go and read. If you look at your masks, your phone, whatever it is, you are probably going to see, when you look at made in, what are you going to see there? It was not always like that. We are in a world now where if China stops producing, the whole of the world comes to a pause. So we can choose what we want to be. The most productive nation in Africa, we have to choose. There's a time to serve God and a time to work. And we can only consume, we can only use, we can only express and share what we produce. This country that also has its problems, just like other countries. What I see in other places is that, yes, the citizens are entitled to complain. You're entitled to complain. And you are entitled to ask that things be changed. But with great respect, you are not entitled to denigrate your country. You see, you can disagree with the political leaders. When those countries have problems, they don't say, oh, their country is God-forsaken. They complain to their leaders. So let us walk back those negative statements that come from us about our country. We, those who are entrusted to serve you by your choice, we're not necessarily the smartest. There are many more intelligent people who don't get the opportunity to serve. So you can complain to us to change what we are serving. Just as we can complain, if they make cook in the morning, you don't like it, you can complain, change it. But you don't bring down the house. So Where are the comments coming from about how good Nigeria is? But I'm not going to speak about the badness of Nigeria, because I believe that this is a phase in our journey to prosperity and greatness. And I hope that very hard lessons will be learned. This year actually, it's an annual thing. People apply to be citizens of this country. This is our country. Does that surprise you? Every year. And it is presented to the Federal Executive Council. It's a memo that comes from the Ministry of Interior. People applying to be citizens of Nigeria. Meanwhile, the citizens of the country itself want to run away. So this happens every year. The last one that we did this year, it was largely Lebanese people. Largely, majority of the applicants were Lebanese. So some of those people you see that don't look like you, but are Lebanese, they are actually Nigerians. So let's just pause. But let me interest you. On that list this year, there were Scottish people, there were Irish people, there were Australians, there were Indians, there were Iranians. And it's a public document. And next year's application, I'm sure, is already in the process. So the country that we don't like is the country that other people from other countries have also left their country and say, this is my home.